live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
I want to start off this show giving a shout out to our 3 listeners in Canada.
Canada? We have somebody listening in Canada?
I was going through our stats on
our
Podbean.
Ooh, yeah.
And I saw that there's got to be at least 3 listeners. And one's in Ontario, one's in Manitoba, and one's in Quebec. This is the all-time downloads.
So, and look here. The Ontario person...
Yeah, so I appreciate the Ontario person.
Thank you, Ontario person.
So I'm wondering if they're in Toronto or wherever. But anyway, nice to have you listening to us, eh?
Thank you, Bert. Hey.
One of my favorite movies is Strange Brew. Have you ever seen that one?
Oh, yeah. Wait.
With the McKenzie brothers. And it's Bob and I can't remember the other guy's name. Where they're brewing beer.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
They're growing a mouse in the bottle and everything.
Right, yeah.
I just like that movie, but
okay.
SCTV.
What are we actually talking about here?
Oh, so
Werewolf
we saw
of London.
I think we're going to try to talk about 2 movies in one episode. We've never done that before.
No, actually we have. What we're going to try and do is slam it down to 23 minutes within that.
Let me talk really fast then.
Okay.
No.
So we did 2 movies. Werewolf in London, 1935. Yes. The juice of a rare Tibetan flower is the only thing that keeps Dr. Glendon from turning into a werewolf during a full moon. And then we also saw American Werewolf in London. 2 American college students on a walking tour of Britain are attacked by a werewolf that none of the locals will admit exists.
Right. We're going to start with the Werewolf of London.
Well, of course, 1935.
1935.
So this is supposed to be the first werewolf movie that was mainstream.
Right.
But actually, it really wasn't. There was one done in 1935 by Universal Studios called The Werewolf, but it was lost in a fire in 1924.
Oh, really?
Just so you know. So there
was it a sound? A sound movie?
No, 1913. It was a silent movie.
Oh, 13. Okay.
But yeah, I was actually researching that because I thought there was one that was 1913. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
You know, what I thought was interesting about this one, and by the way, let me tell you how much better this film overall was than the 1940 version.
Oh yes,
with Lon Chaney in it.
Absolutely.
I mean,
there's a connection.
So much better.
So the same makeup artist, the guy that did the makeup,
yes,
he did the makeup for both films.
Can I say this then? You know what? The transitions were not their thing back then.
Right.
But the transitions that they used by the camera going behind beams or columns was very nice.
Walking. Yeah, actually I like that.
Yeah, just really well done. I mean, you know, that it was an easy trick, and it.
Well, they also did the trick where you show the feet and then you go back up to the head.
Right, and go back. Yeah,
go back to the hands.
They did some just nice.
So Jack Pierce,
Jack Pierce, right? Jack Pierce.
So what's interesting is that he had a plan for the makeup and they had to tone it down because they thought it was too extreme.
Yeah.
But so they used his original plan for the 1940 film.
Oh, right. Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. The 1941. Yeah, The Wolfman.
It was so much better. Everything about this was so much better.
It was better.
I mean,
I wouldn't say it was scary though. I mean,
no. Well, funny that neither one of them is. I love the
a lot of comedy in this one too. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Invisible Man. A little bit.
There was a little bit of
like the 2 old ladies.
Man. Yeah, the 2 old.
They were amazing.
Yeah, them in the staircase. The 2 old ladies kidding around and drinking in the staircase and trying to like sneak the bottle away from each other was just hilarious and something that I think that I never really appreciated until later, that we now have separated horror into horror and comedy horror, and I think that it takes away from
the horror, right?
Yeah, because in a way, those early films like Frankenstein, not so much Dracula, but definitely Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Werewolf, they worked within the realm of humor working against horror, so they're titillate you and then, tap you on the shoulder, and then titillate you, and then tap you on the shoulder, and kept going back and forth and back and forth. And it seems today that we don't bother to do the comedy unless we're, making a comedy horror film.
Well, we picked weird 2 movies to talk about because American Werewolf in London, John Landis, I think he made it more of a comedy.
Oh yeah,
because that's what he did.
That was an
Animal House. And,
that was an intentional comedy. Yeah,
but it got away from the horror, so it really wasn't. There was some really gory parts, but it really was more of a comedy movie to me.
The transformation, the amazing.
I didn't like the end though. What he turned into, the gray wolf at the end, and that just looked weird to me. Like when he was fully transformed.
Oh yeah, no. You're absolutely right. But
I did like the transformation with the extending hands.
Right, but you know what? I think that they knew that. I think that they knew that they didn't have a winner with the full-grown wolf, and they did everything they could not to see it.
Right.
I mean, did you notice that?
Until the end, really.
Yeah, until the end. But they did an awful lot of it just with the eyes in the dark, and the gore effects.
Oh yeah. The makeup effects were great, especially his friend Jack, who was dead.
Right, and he kept getting worse and worse.
But I like when he first got there, it was just hanging like he had just been murdered.
Oh man, it was great. It was really good.
That was Rick Baker, right?
Rick Baker. And the how about the first one with the pile in the theater?
Oh yeah,
the first one in the theater when he come and there's this like pile of like miscellaneous parts. Oh, it's so perfect. I mean, it was absolutely and just utterly grisly.
Yeah.
He just did such a good job.
Actually, my favorite scene in American Werewolf in London is when they're sitting in the porn theater.
Yeah.
And there's he meets all the people he's killed.
Right. He's meeting the people that he's killed, and the thing is they're screwing in the background.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
And that porn movie was pretty funny too. It was the guy came into the wrong room.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops! I don't know you.
Oops! I don't know you.
But anyway.
But the way that there was definitely an arc in all the makeup effects in the werewolf in American Werewolf in London, the arc to the makeup effects
totally
seemed to be very, very well thought out.
Oh, totally.
And by the way, the actor that was in that what is his name? The lead. David Naughton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. David Naughton, as Robert would say, he wore the makeup well. He worked really hard for the transformation, it was just classic. The
guy that played Jack, Griffin Dunn, he was good comedically.
Right. I thought he was too.
So it was perfect casting, I thought.
Yeah,
I think he found him in a Coke or I think it was a Coke commercial.
Oh, was it?
David Naughton, I think he was originally in a Coke commercial or something.
Oh, everybody was great in it. You have to see this movie. You can't call yourself a horror fan without having seen.
So the 75, the Werewolf in London, I think was kind of bland to me.
Yeah, it was bland,
but
it was
no stellar
better.
Actors. There was the story was just kind of and then the Swedish guy playing the Japanese guy, it was kind of weird to me.
Yeah. Oh, did you notice? Let's see, was it that one? Yes, it was that one. That they were actually in Agua Dulce, where at the beginning when they're up in the mountains, Tibet, right? Yeah. That's Agua Dulce. I mean, literally, they had the same shot at the beginning that the Star Trek one where they're making the diamonds and they're making the gun with the diamonds and the gunpowder and all, and they're Kurt's making the gunpowder, right?
Yeah.
That was that formation, which you see all the time. I mean,
right.
It was that same spot that
especially
they did
in Star Trek.
Yeah, but this is the same place where you saw the Flintstones village recreated for the live action Flintstones. But that there was it stood in for where were they? Tibet.
Yes.
Tibet. It stood in for Tibet.
Yes.
Boy.
I got lost there too.
Yeah.
Did you notice there was a line in there that related to us a lot?
Oh, what?
You are foolish, but without fools, there would be no wisdom.
Oh, that's
so that describes our podcast.
That's pretty much, yeah. I mean,
that's like if somebody reviewed our podcast.
So we're done, right? I'm finished with this one.
Well, I did want to point out a couple things about American Werewolf in London because that meant more to me.
Okay, go ahead.
I just like the there was some obviously some just funny symbolism just because they were in a back of a thing with a bunch of sheep,
right?
And they were sheep's going to slaughter,
right?
As they walked into this bar called the bar name? It had
sheep's head, wasn't it?
The slaughtered sheep.
The slaughtered sheep, right? Yeah.
And then they go to, what's that thing on the wall? What's that star on the wall for? But no, I don't know. The whole thing was stupid because they were.
What, they never seen that?
They were backpacking through this country, and they were told to stay off the road, and they were totally going off the road.
Right.
It was like a Laurel and Hardy movie.
I did love that. There was stay on the road. Stay on the road. No matter what you do, stay on the road. Oh, and by the way, no matter what you do when you're out there, could you just stay on the road?
Right.
And we were thinking that, and we don't have any food, and you don't get any tea, but stay on the road. And yet, the first thing that they did is veer off the road into the marshes, right?
And I like a couple of the transitions where the guy was laying on the escalator and the lion roared.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought the set was actually pretty nice. Didn't you think so?
I think moving through the tunnels.
Yeah.
In London. I mean, a lot of that was actually filmed down there, and obviously Piccadilly Circus. I'm pretty sure that was actually Piccadilly Circus. But the very long shots of the guy that's running away in the tubes, and going up the staircase and all those other shots, very, very, very well done.
And then I thought the transitions. So I had a couple of issues. The transitions from scene to scene was a little bit rough, and then the story there wasn't any character development really. I mean, there was a little bit. With the two people.
You're on a
American Werewolf.
You're on a character development rag.
I am
tonight.
What
is this?
I don't know.
Character.
Well, I guess I wanted to know more about.
I didn't see a character arc.
There wasn't really any in this one. It was
right. No,
it was pretty flat.
Well, and you know what? They went over there and they died.
Wasn't it kind of rushed though? Didn't the ending? Wasn't it so? It was really abrupt. It was just all of a sudden, boom, that's it. Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
The story didn't develop either very much.
No, you're right. But you know what? The whole movie for me was just that one transition.
I still enjoyed it, yeah.
The transition. Look, let's face it. If all I had to see was the transition and the interior of the theater, of the porn theater, with him talking to all the people that he had killed, I mean, that was enough for me. I could walk away. Didn't need any more story. Ow! Kurt,
well,
I need more story.
I do have some interesting trivia bits that I found.
Why don't you just drag those up?
I will. This is the only movie that John Landis did that won an Academy Award. And guess what it was for? You probably know.
Makeup effects?
Yes, makeup. And it was the first year they did that. And Rick Baker also won again in 2010 for The Wolfman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. Son of a gun.
And Michael Jackson loved this movie so much that he actually got people like Robert Painter to be the cinematographer, music, the same guy that did music.
To do
Rick
his
Baker
Thriller.
to do special effects.
To work Thriller.
I'm forgetting the guy that did the music.
Right.
Elmer or something.
Right. Fudd. Elmer Bernstein.
And then the same costume designer.
Elmer Bernstein.
And then the other thing was Rick Baker actually played one of the Nazi werewolves.
Wow.
He played the one that cut his throat.
Oh, right.
And the other little tidbit I saw was that he was upset with how short the scene was. Because he put all this work into the transition, transformation,
right.
And they only cut it down to 7 seconds, I think. The part where there are certain parts,
right where the fingers,
where the
well, you know what, I did have one. As long as we're getting niggly about things, there was a scene in there where the hand was too wide.
Oh,
it was freakishly wide. You know,
it didn't fit.
Yeah, and it didn't fit. But man, I got to tell you something.
And the feet.
That effect sequence just absolutely to this day is still one of the finest.
I got one more tidbit that I remember.
Okay, give it to me, baby.
So the main character was supposed to be Jewish, but so they avoided showing full frontals of this guy because he was uncircumcised. don't know how I remember that little tidbit. But anyway, and I did that without my notes. Did you notice that?
Yes, you did. So now these days, and so if it had been created by the guy who created Star Wars,
Right.
George Lucas,
Yeah.
he would have gone back and put in a CGI,
Probably.
Circumcised CGI, the correct
Probably.
and then released it.
Re-released it. It's an extra scene with Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, this has the extra scene in it.
Jabba the.
So, I don't know. We didn't have much to say about Werewolf of London. I think we liked, obviously, American Werewolf.
I liked it a lot better than the one that Universal did later. This is also another Universal film.
I think the 30s monster movies for Universal were better in general, at least the ones I've seen.
Yeah, well,
But then again, I haven't seen them all.
I'm surprised that
Bride of Frankenstein was a little bit more funnier, though, speaking of comedy.
And here's the thing. We need to see Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
We need to jump in there, because I've got that one and The Mummy. The Mummy!
Yes. But it's not the recent Mummy, is it?
No,
the one
it's
with
the
The Rock or whatever.
Yeah, really, honestly. I don't know. We would have to see them to compare them.
No,
I don't know. I don't want to do that.
No, these were fun. These didn't necessarily need to go together, but the first one was so short, and so we didn't have much to say about it.
Came and went, and Okay.
What would you rate him?
I would go probably a 4 for American Werewolf. It was really good. It was really good.
I think a 4, and I think everybody should see this if they're into.
I think so. I think that I did not enjoy the original, the 40s Werewolf, and I think I gave it like maybe a 1.9.
Yeah, I was pretty low too on that.
It was pretty low. And this one, I'm going to give it a 2.5 because I have the same thing. It was a kind of a good movie, but it wasn't.
I might be a little bit lower, like probably a 2.1, just because I didn't really I wasn't really into the story, I guess.
I really like the bit in Tibet, because I always like seeing Agua Dulce, seeing everything that people do with Agua Dulce with the mountains.
Yeah.
I just think it's really funny.
I did like some of the stupidity, like the second night he could have taken the flower out into the moonlight, and maybe it would have opened sooner.
Let me give you something about that Dane that you were talking about. Do you know who he was?
Dane.
Yeah, the Dane that played the other scientist. Do you know who he was?
No.
Charlie Chan.
No.
Yep, same guy.
Are you sure?
Yep, absolutely. I wrote it down right here.
It was Warner Oland.
Yeah, click on Warner Oland.
And that's Charlie Chan?
Yeah, click on him.
Oh my gosh, it was Charlie Chan. Oh my God, he just blew my mind. Do you hear that noise? That's my head exploding.
and Fu Manchu.
Okay. So that explains the accent. Because I was like, that sounds really familiar. And then my dad used to listen to some of those old radio shows.
Exactly. That's him. So,
wow.
I bet you didn't know that.
No.
Actually, I think I caught you with your pants down. Ooh.
So I think your head blew up in the last episode. Mine blew up in this one.
Yeah, there you go.
So anyway.
So let's go to Werewolf. We already rated all this, right?
Yeah, we already rated both of them.
Well, we're done.
Well, I do have one comment to make.
Okay, go ahead. Comment.
Just an observation.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now we're deep in the zombie, our country is deep into the zombie fever. Everybody loves zombies right now.
It's because we're being run by zombies.
In the 80s, I remember werewolves being huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you had Teen Wolf.
Yeah, well, you had a TV series even.
Which, by the way...
Lycanthrope, the werewolf was on TV.
Yeah, the makeup in the 1935 Werewolf of London reminded me a lot of Teen Wolf.
Yeah, it did. It did. It was, very close. Well, except for they didn't try to pass off essentially a beaver for a werewolf, a werebeaver.
I do like the plaid outfit with the dad dressed in Teen Wolf. It's perfect.
As a whole, it worked.
If you don't watch anything else in Teen Wolf, that one scene is the one you should watch. So look it up on YouTube.
I'm still baiting as to whether you should see any of Teen Wolf.
The dad's reveal on Teen Wolf. You've got to see it.
So, what do you have to say now?
An explanation is probably long overdue.
I don't have much to say other than... Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.